The emotional stress as a result of the lack of money can drain the positive energy required to make a relationship blissful. When a partner feels irritated or feels frustrated by the lack of funds, it could spill over into other aspects or other areas of the relationship. And before long, you begin to notice that it becomes a point of reference for a lot of complaints, for a lot of quarrels, or even other negative impacts in the relationship.
In most cases, the amount of money that is available to a couple may not actually be the problem, but poor management of money available to them, extravagant spending, a lack of accountability. So when one partner is dishonest with his or her income, that could lead to lack of trust and create problems in the marriage.
Hello everybody, it feels so great to have you all back again on our channel. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
Now today we're going to be discussing something really, I think it will be interesting for our viewers as well. And what's the topic again?
The topic is power of money to make or break a marital relationship.
Yes, the power of money to make or break a marital relationship. Individuals who have built their self-worth around financial status tend to lose their self-confidence if their financial state is in a poor, very poor. Now, unfortunately, such emotional state can inhibit one's ability to build a successful marriage. Yes.
Even if a couple is prudent, even if a couple is accountable with their finances and they don't have enough money to meet their financial responsibilities.
Yes.
More lack of money will as well impact on their relationship.
That's true.
If they don't manage it very well.
Yeah, I agreed. And again, if a couple has enjoyed some level of affluence, over a period of time, but for one reason or for another, they fall down from grace to grass. We will need wisdom. They will need wisdom to navigate, this aspect, the current situation within their relationship, in order not to destroy the relationship itself.
You have a point. When you look at someone who has, enjoyed money, has been in a good company, working and making so much money, all of a sudden the person has lost his job. For instance, so many pilots in the UK lost their job. That way, it will impact on them. And if they are not careful, it will affect their marital relationship.
Absolutely.
So that tells you that money has a power to make or break a marital
relationship, depending on how it is managed. Exactly. Yes, depending on how it is managed. So invariably, what we are saying is that money has a huge impact on people in a number of ways. So basically, it could affect people's sense of success, the sense of beauty, the sense of achievement, happiness, security, self-esteem. So our perception about money will, begins with our experiences. So again, a lot of people's perception on, money, starts with their experiences, and we are sure to carry it over into marriage. Yeah,
like you're saying, our attitude to money, determines how much impact it could have on us. For instance, if my self-worth is built around how much money I have, how much access I have to money, then if I don't have any money, I will feel less of myself.
That's true.
Which is important that we say this to our viewers, that the worth of a man does not depend on how much money he has. Your self-worth should not be built around the type of job you have, the cars you have, how much you have in your bank account. But there are people who, if they don't have any money in their account, they feel irritated. Some men, when they get home, they get at everybody, shout at everybody around them.
So it impacts on their, they kind of have like a self-worth kind of problem.
They feel good when they have money. They don't have money,
then they feel less of themselves.
They feel angry and irritated.
Indeed. Now, drawing from what you're saying, a lot of people whose image is tied to money, they tend to exert a lot of effort. They want to work more. They want to see themselves making more, seeing more income coming and all of those kind of things. And, this could impact on a man's availability at home. And again,
even a woman's availability at home.
Exactly.
Depending on the
exactly. So when you look at the fact that if children are involved in that sort of relationship, then they really feel or enjoy the presence of their parents because they are always at work in order for them to make more money. And again, having more or less money can impact on your marriage if you believe that this is a key to your marital bliss or to your marital success. Now, one thing they fail to understand is that unfortunately, money does not protect one from emotional pain. It doesn't protect anyone from emotional hurt. And this could be associated even in marriage as well. One could feel emotional pain, one could go through all of those challenges. And money does not alienate you from all of those things.
Yes, there are challenges in life that money does not solve. But then the other issue you have to look at is money is important.
Yes.
It's important. It solves a lot of problems.
That's true.
It creates opportunity for choices, to solve family problems, bills are paid with money and all that.
Yes, absolutely.
But the point you are trying to make is that you don't kill yourself because you want to make more money. You have to live a balanced life.
Yeah.
If you have children, you have to balance the time you spend with them and the time you spend trying to make money.
So now we've established the fact that money is important, although that shouldn't override
other elements of one's relationship.
So now, how can one manage money effectively?
This is the
because this is the crux of the matter.
One of the reasons money creates problems, like we pointed out, is not necessarily because there is no money. People have jobs, they have income, yet they're having issues, they argue about money. In fact, there's a study that says that 30% of people who argue about money once a week end in divorce. So rather than arguing about money, the idea is how can you manage it effectively? So from our understanding, one of the ways to manage money effectively is to have an ongoing conversation about finances.
That's true.
Ongoing conversation. We did a
previous
episode on 7 money matters that should be discussed before
marriage. Yes.
So if you've not seen it, please try and look at that. So we assume you've done your work before marriage.
Yes.
Now that you're married, you don't end the conversation.
Yes.
Because
it should be ongoing.
Circumstances change. Level of income change.
Yeah.
Things change. So you have to keep talking about it. In fact, you should make it a yearly affair.
Not just a yearly affair. I think it should be an ongoing conversation. Just like you discuss about every aspect of your relationship. Money, because we've said that money is kind of embedded in everything that we do in a relationship. And I think that as you go about planning monthly budget, as you go about planning, your investment, it could be in a month's time, it could be less. It's very important that they think about having that conversation as often as possible, and not just make it an annual event.
Yeah, the annual one is key because that is where you make a projection for the year.
Yes.
And then on regular basis, like you said, they keep talking about money, keep talking about how to spend income and all that.
Yeah. Drawing from what you said about having an ongoing conversation, I think it is also very important that the people in the relationship would need to have an agreement, because I think that the reason why money tends to be a problem in a lot of relationships is because the people in the relationship have got divergent views about money. So they need to have a unified front. How do we manage our expenses? And it has to be discussed, it has to be explicit. How do we manage our income? It has to be discussed, it has to be explicit. And this goes a lot in trusting people, trusting one another. And like we said previously, if you are not the money experts in the relationship, it is very important that you hand over to that person who is the money. And that's why it's very important to have that communication, because some people are not very good as it has to do with financial management. It's just a flow that they have. But having that conversation will help both of you to arrive at a unified agreement, and you kind of say, this is what we want to do going forward. Even if you want to make investments, you make it together.
Well, I think one of the areas that I want to touch on, which creates a problem in terms of unified approach to money, is power play. Power play has to do with who controls how much is spent in the relationship.
Wow.
And most times the person who makes more money is the one who tends to control how much is being spent in the relationship.
So invariably what you're saying is that power play could occur maybe when one partner has a paid job and the other doesn't have a paid job, or when both partners would like to be working but one is unemployed, or when the spouse earns or maybe one spouse earns considerably more than the other person. You know, this is likely to occur. Or even when one partner comes from a family that has money or a lot of investment, and then the other person doesn't. And when all of this situation presents itself, what is likely to happen in that relationship?
The problem now is that it becomes a point of conflict. Because if I believe it is our money, and you believe because I earn more, I will decide how things are done, then whatever suggestion I'm making in terms of the right way of managing money is not taken on board. So for instance, if the man is the one who makes more money, and him,
so you want to decide how it is spent.
He wouldn't even want to tell the wife how much he's spending. He spends. So he goes out there, buys what he wants, gives the woman money as much as he wants, because after all, I'm the one making the money. You don't have a right to question what I do with the money. So that's what power play does. But I think the best approach is where, even if you're the one that makes all the money, see it as family money. And work together as a team.
And you know, this is a very interesting point that you've just touched on. I think the reason why people allow this to take a hold on their relationship is because they see money as more important. Money is important. Don't get us wrong. Money is very important, but money is only a tool.
Yes, it's a means to an end.
It should be something that enhances the relationship and not the focus of the relationship.
Center stage
in the relationship, yes, because it can help solve problems. It can help us to achieve a lot. It can help us enjoy our relationship. But once we see it and put it at that, where it belongs, then it doesn't have a hold on the relationship. And I think having that open conversation, like we said before, will help to downplay this power play
impact of money
that we will be talking about. So I think that a lot of couples would need to engage in this. The second thing that we think should be highlighted is know your net worth as a couple. This is in fact, we cannot overemphasize how important this is. How much do you worth as a couple? When you combine the value of your asset minus your liabilities, what is left? And I think it's also down to a lot of conversation that you need to have together as a couple. If we put it in another way, your net worth is what is owned minus what you owe. That's just to put it in perspective, so that people can understand what we're saying. Because most couples live by default without knowing what their net worth is. Year on, year in, year out, they just keep going without knowing and assessing and trying to, analyze what is our net worth.
The problem with that is that, sometimes people, once you have cash around you, when you have access to cash, you think you have money. So you live, every month you have money.
You keep spending.
Once there's cash in your hand, you
just keep spending. Yes.
So over time, you discover that you are actually in debt. For instance, you've taken loan, you've taken credit card,
overdraft.
You've done overdraft in the bank.
Yes.
And you have money available to you to spend. So you keep spending. But if you take time to assess yourself to know, okay, fine, how much do I owe?
And how much do we have? How much do we have
as a couple?
Yes.
It helps you to plan.
Yes.
So that you don't live beyond your means.
Exactly. And it gives you a realistic view, a realistic check
of what is going on in terms of your finance.
Yes, and we talked about in the previous video when we said you had to do your credit check, because that's very important. How healthy is your credit as a couple? And it's very important that you kind of look at this, realistically. You cannot be lying to yourself saying you're just spending. The chicken will always come home to roost one day.
So if you ask yourself, how much are you worth now?
Yeah.
If you can't answer that question, it means you don't know your net worth.
You need to do a health check on your finances.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Thank you. So when you're done with knowing your net worth, the next thing you need to do is to create a financial plan or goals for your family. So every couple needs a financial goal. You have to ask yourself, in the next 5 years, how much will your net worth be? Because I believe most people have a lifestyle they want to adopt or they want to live. So you have to ask yourself, how much do you need?
Can you afford it?
To meet that lifestyle.
Yes.
So if you want your children to go to the best school,
yes.
You want your family to live in the best environment, have the best of lifestyle. Do you have the net worth that will support that?
Yes.
If not, you create a plan of how to get that money.
Yeah. You might need to think about, probably making some adjustment in terms of a job.
Yeah. So you have to, if you need to go to school to upskill, if you need to do some training, you need to have multiple streams of income. Yeah. So whatever you have to do to work to make that net worth
worthwhile,
available,
yes,
then you have to do it.
Yes. So basically what we are saying is you have to make a plan on how you can achieve your financial goals.
Exactly.
It doesn't come by default.
Yeah.
And this is an honest conversation that needs to be had within the relationship.
Exactly. It is not enough to say, I need to have 10 million pounds in the next 5 years. The question is, how are you going to make that happen? Every goal must have a plan,
yes,
and a timeline.
Yes.
So if it's not a workable plan, you're just dreaming.
Yeah. And I think it's about making little tiny baby steps on how you can actualize your goal. And this is very important, thinking about your timeline for actualization.
Yeah. It has to be measurable.
Yes.
And it has to be actualizable.
Yes, exactly. The fourth thing that we think that needs to be addressed by the people in the relationship is they need to have a budget. This is very important. A good budget should answer two key questions. Number one, where does the income come from? And the second question is, do I spend more than I earn? Most families are involved in instinctive assessment of their financial state. They just want to use their heads to figure out, how much do we spend as a family? Many people spend more than they earn. The last video that we did, we talked about the Parkinson law of money, of finances. And I think it's very important because as you grow your income, your expenditure would always grow too much if you do not keep an eye on your expenditure. So a lot of people spend more than they earn, which puts them in a spiral debt.
So you need to know where your money comes from.
Yes.
And how much money you make monthly.
Yes.
As a family.
Yeah.
So on that basis, you're able to plan your expenses.
Yes.
Because you don't need to spend more than you earn. You shouldn't even spend all that you earn.
Yes.
So for you to beat Parkinson's law, like you said.
Yes.
So if you keep spending everything, you live from hand to mouth.
Yeah.
Which is not a good state to be. So make a budget according to the level of your income.
Yeah.
And you must spend within your means.
Yes. So you need to have a boundary.
Yes.
That's the whole essence of having a budget. Because a budget keeps you in check.
The fifth point we want to talk about is accountability. This is very crucial. So you must be accountable to each other. Every money spent, especially major expenses, needs to be accounted for. Unfortunately, I am a man, and I could say to you that a lot of men, have issues with this. We've been conditioned to think about accountability to our wives as something that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So if you must have a good financial management, accountability is key.
Yeah.
You must make sure that you share with your spouse how much you earn and how much you spend.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't spend without the consent of your spouse.
That one is very tricky.
Yeah.
When you say to people they can't spend without the consent, it sounds like they are being policed on their own money. Because someone will say, it's my money anyway, so why do I have to seek the consent of my spouse before I spend my money?
This is exactly where the problem comes from. When you start thinking it is my money, there is a problem.
Yeah.
If you believe that marriage is about oneness, where 1 + 1 = 1,
yeah,
you shouldn't see it as my money. It is our money. It doesn't matter, even if your spouse is not making any income at the time, it is still our money.
Yeah.
Because you're together, you're one. Once you look at it as my money, the problem now is, why will someone else control how I spend my money?
You know, as you were just saying this, it's surprising how we expect a lot of accountability from our leaders, from the government.
Yeah.
We expect these people to be accountable to us citizens and tell us what they are doing with
our money.
With our money, like
Yes.
the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
You know, we expect even organizations to let us know exactly how they are putting our money into use. We want them to be accountable, yet we do not see the need to be accountable in our relationship with someone that is so intimate with us.
Yeah, it's really, really surprising. I think the problem is that most of us have been exposed to cultural views, different views about money and marriage.
Yes.
Remember when we were about to get married?
Yeah.
I remember an elderly person,
Yeah.
a man,
Yeah.
called me and told me, he was like giving me an advice.
Yeah.
Don't ever let your wife know how much you have.
I got the same advice as well.
Really?
Yes, I got an advice from someone I revere. I don't want to mention names before they come at me.
So,
and they say have a separate account just in case something goes sideways.
Yeah. So for him,
yes,
he was giving me wisdom tips. You know, for a young man getting married, if you want to survive financially, don't let your wife know how much you earn.
Yeah.
You know. But for me, I felt marriage is about oneness.
Yes.
So we have to be accountable to each other.
Yes. So, you know, accountability means that you're willing to carry your spouse along in terms of your financial dealings.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how small or how big they are. So the wife also needs to be accountable. I mean, what we are discussing here is mutual accountability from both parties.
Yeah.
So both parties have to be accountable to what they do with their money. The sixth point that we think it's important for us to mention is transparency. Transparency is linked to accountability. Requires complete openness, complete vulnerability. You have to be completely honest and answerable to each other. So it's not a man thing, it's not a woman thing, it's about both of you in the relationship. You have nothing to hide in terms of your dealing with money. So it was a shock to know that, you know, some individuals do not know what their partners earn or even how much they have. Because in some relationship it does exist where a lot of people, you know, whether the man or the woman, in some cases do not disclose how much they earn, and they only know how much he or she brings. That's nothing more than that.
Yeah, but I think not knowing how much your spouse earns may have worked for some people. So some people will tell you whatever works for us is good for us. There is no set rule for relationships.
That's true.
But then when you look at what marriage stands for, what relationship is all about, is that the best approach?
No, I think in some cases, especially, you know, when we talked about some people have a problem with money in a relationship. I'm talking about in a relationship now. It could be the man, it could be the woman. Where if they are privy to this particular information, then they will want to spend everything. And I think that's why in some cases, some couples will try to keep that information or shield that information from that other person in the relationship.
Yeah, that could be an exception to the rule, but the ideal state is where both of you are together in terms of how much you earn, you know everything, because marriage is about openness. If there's a problem of someone not knowing how to manage money, deal with that problem. It's a different problem on its own. If there are other issues, maybe marital conflict, lack of trust.
You're saying dealing with it independently, but sometimes some people have allowed this to fester
but
so long that it has eaten deep into the fabrics of their relationship, and if the person or the individuals involved in the relationship would find it very difficult to be open, as it has to do with
finance.
I
know that there are different issues, different conflicts, different pressure points people are dealing with in their marriage.
Yes.
But then the ideal state is what we are talking about. The ideal state, which is what is working for the two of us.
Yeah.
You know how much I have. I know how much you have.
Yeah.
And we don't work separately. We do everything together.
But this is our views. It's good that we state that for our viewers.
I'm saying this is the ideal.
Yes.
This is how it should be.
Yes.
So if it's not this way, it doesn't mean it's not working for them. People could do, okay, the man is the one who decides what he spends. He knows how much he makes, whatever it is.
Yes.
But where there is openness, where there is transparency, it creates that room for intimacy.
That's true.
Because you trust each other. You know your word. You know this is our money. Looking at transparency, one of the things that creates problems in terms of transparency is the issue of extended family members. For instance, if I have family members that are dependent on me financially and I want to help them, and you say, no, we can't help them, and I feel, how can I not help my family?
And then you do it.
That creates a problem because I don't have to be transparent. I will now start
looking for coded
ways
to do it, to actualize
to keep some money that I'll be able to send to my family members. And then if you eventually find out that this is what I'm doing, it creates trust issues.
That's true.
So now, since you're giving money to your people,
I will do the same.
I will do the same.
Yes.
So that comes. So that is why it's also important that whatever you're doing, you do it together.
Together. Yeah. You
plan it, bring in extended family into it, make a budget on how you're going to help them.
Yeah. Together. Yeah.
So you don't give to your people and I give to my people.
Yeah.
It creates a problem.
It does. Another aspect of transparency that I think is very important is sometimes we want to treat ourselves in a relationship. We just want to buy something, we just want to feel good and just buy things for yourself. Now it is very important that in so doing, you carry your other person along. I'm not saying don't treat yourself. I'm not saying don't buy things for yourself. But please, whilst you're doing that, carry the person along. Remember that as a unit, you would have set some budgets for the month, for the week, for the year. And it is very important that you let the other person in the relationship know that, look, I want to buy this thing,
Yeah, it's not like you're buying minor things.
Major
is, for instance, you come home and you see I bought a car.
Wow.
With our family money.
Wow.
You will be shocked and you will not be happy about it. Even if you will be happy in a sense that I have a car.
Yeah.
But I have to take permission to get your consent before I do that.
Yes, because you getting a car, in as much as it's a fantastic idea, it puts pressure on other aspects.
On the family budget. Exactly. So such decisions, such financial decisions need to be made together.
Yeah. Very important. But now don't say because we said you cannot buy things and then you now say to your spouse, sorry, I cannot buy you a birthday present because I have to discuss it with you first. I mean, those are minor things. So don't say, I'm not going to. We have to budget.
You don't budget everything.
But these things we're talking about major things. Major things. Very important because you're buying birthday present. I don't think it's just once in a year, and that you could do as a surprise. I'm sure your spouse will be pleased about it.
Yeah.
So it's important to treat each other.
Yeah, give that treat. It's good.
Do treat each other. Wow. I would say that there are other factors that create problems in a relationship. And one of it is overspending. So when you look at your finances, overspending is not good. Creating too much debts, or having too many credit cards and you're owing on all those credit cards.
And not paying them.
And not paying them when you have to pay them and you're accumulating interest. That's not too good.
Not being on the same financial page with your spouse.
At all. Not being on the same financial page with your spouse also could be very challenging. Not having a financial plan. This is like you driving or going out to a place where you don't know without a map, without a sat nav. So it is very important that every family should have a financial plan. Not saving enough for retirement.
This is key. So you're saying that financial plan should involve retirement plan.
Future plan. Yes. You will not always be this agile.
Yes.
So you need to think about how am I putting money away for the future, because this is really important.
Yeah.
You know, not having an emergency fund. This happens. Things happen. We don't pray that anybody should be having any emergency, but
it happens.
This is not exhausting. It's a lot to talk about, but we feel that these are the main things that if couples in a relationship, sit together, figure this out, to a large extent, it eliminates the challenges as it has to do with finances within their relationship.
So it's very, very crucial that a couple work as a team.
Yeah.
Put heads together, plan together, end together, spend together.
That's true. Fantastic.
So we've touched on some points here. What other ways do you think money can make or break a relationship? Put your comments in the comment section below and let's know what you think.
Yes, if you find this video of value, please do share with your friends, like it, and like my husband said, please comment on it. And if this is your first time key into a channel, it is great to have you here. Please do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you get to know when we put new content out. Thank you very much, and we do appreciate you sticking with us and engaging with the content that we bring to you every week. Have a fantastic day ahead. Goodbye.
Bye.